The crackle of the radio bled through the low hum of my truck's air conditioner. The sun, not yet past 9, was already pressing down on Luna County. Unit 12, what do you have, Sandy? I said into the MIC. Mac, I got a strange call. Tourist from Crimson Spires says he found a body. Said you need to see it for yourself. Near Coyote Joe's Arch. I clenched my teeth. That place wasn't made for sightseeing. Over an hour past the dirt road's end, bad country, torn up by gullies and stone ridges stretching east of town. Deputy Miller's already en route, she said. Voice was a little shaky. Tell him to guard the scene. Don't touch a thing until I get there. Will do, Mac. And, be careful, the tourist sounded scared. Really scared. I hung the MIC on its hook. Maybe the guy had too much sun and saw a ghost of his own making. The truck groaned up the last miles in low gear, kicking up dust and gravel. Then the road twisted too steep for the tires, so I stopped beneath a pale Palo Verde tree, grabbed my pack, water, pistol, camera, and evidence kit. Walking felt like stepping into an oven. The air shimmered over the red rock. Only the crunch of boots and the occasional angry drone of a fly broke the silence. Miller's car came into view, parked near a dry wash. Sweat soaked through my shirt by the time I reached him. Miller, I called. He turned, relief flashing across his young face. Couldn't have been more than 23. Detective Cole, sir, thank God you're here. He pointed with a trembling hand. Down there, at the base of the column. I followed his gesture. 40 feet below, the slope fell into a small canyon. A single stone pillar stood there, a hoodoo, shaped by wind and time like a long finger of the earth itself. And beneath it, no dot on it, was something. Through binoculars I focused in and stopped breathing. The body wasn't lying at the base. It was growing out of the stone, perched 10 feet up on a ledge no wider than 2 boot soles. Male, by the build, sitting upright, but not like any man sits. The limbs were wrong. One arm extended westward, fingers like bones pointing toward the dying sun. The other rested on his knees, frozen in some half gesture of surrender. The skin was dark, stretched tight over bone, as if it had baked there for weeks. Miller followed, awkward and pale. The air below was thick with heat and dust, and something else beneath it, sharp and chemical, not rot but dry and biting. Up close, the horror became art. The arm that pointed wasn't just bone and flesh. Segments of chala cactus were woven through the muscle, spines piercing skin like armor. In the gaps between tendons, smooth river stones were pressed, milky quartz, banded agate, glinting faintly in the shade. It was as if whoever made this was rebuilding what the desert had already taken. The head tilted sideways, hidden behind a clay mask, rough and cracked, the color of earth. 2 holes for eyes, a line for a mouth. Miller's voice shook. Sir, who could have done this? I stared at the figure. Only the hiss of wind through stone answered. Whoever made this knew the desert, its silence, its cruelty, and used it as his gallery. I took my camera, documenting it would take hours. And I knew, colder than the desert night itself, this wouldn't be his last piece. Later, under the morgue's white lights, the body lay still as dust. Dental records gave him a name, Thomas Ashton, 45, from Tucson. Ornithologist. Missing 3 days. Dr. Ramirez, calm and unflinching, examined him. Desiccation, she said, accelerated. Weeks of drying compressed into 72 hours. Sprayed post-mortem. I nodded. So he was killed first. Yes, almost merciful, considering what came after. She showed me the embedded cactus, the mask mold directly on his face. And the ants, she added, are from a harvest colony near the old volcanic cone. Not natives, someone brought them. That detail crawled under my skin. Someone strong, patient, skilled, using the desert itself as material. Days passed. I combed through missing person reports, online rumors, desert chatter, stories about strange camps, hermits, abandoned mines, nothing. Thomas Ashton had no enemies. Just birds, notebooks, and a brutal end. Pressure from the sheriff grew. Find something. Mac, anything. People are scared. All I found were questions. This wasn't rage. It was obsession. A message carved in flesh and dust. But for whom? I dreamed of the clay mask, the ants, the desert's breath rattling in my throat. Then, The third evening after Ashton was found, the radio crackled again. Sandy's voice, low, tense, frightened. "Mac, you there?" "Go ahead." "It's Old Man Henderson. You know him, lives past Ghost Rocks." He called in. Said his scarecrow started moving. Silence. His scarecrow. That's what he said. Out by his west field, near the dry well. He's terrified, won't go near it. My blood turned cold. Ghost Rocks was 30 miles of bad road. Nothing out there but dust, and maybe something else. "Tell him to lock his doors," I said. "Stay inside. I'm on my way." By the time I reached his land, night had swallowed the desert. The wind carried nothing but the hum of insects. Henderson's shack was a dark speck against the stars. I cut the engine, stepped out with flashlight and pistol in hand. "Mr. Henderson," I called softly. "Sheriff's Department, Detective Cole." A voice trembled from behind boarded windows. "You came alone?" "Yes, sir." "It's out there, West Field. You'll see." "Stay inside," I said. The West Field was a flat patch of cracked earth. Dead trees jutted like signposts under the stars. My flashlight beam cut through the dark and caught the silhouette of something tall behind a rusted tractor. At first it looked like a weathered scarecrow, but as I came closer, the light revealed the truth that it was no scarecrow. A woman's body was bound to a wooden frame, more sculpture than cross, built with a twisted devotion. Her skin was parchment, her hands raised toward the sky, fingers spread in a silent plea. The faded dress she wore was torn but arranged with care. Her head hung back, mouth open in a scream that would never end. In her hair were woven dry tumbleweeds, forming a crown of thorns. Her eye sockets held smooth turquoise stones. Her lips were painted a deep, unnatural red, berries, maybe, or crushed mineral. And around her feet, bones. Dozens of small skulls, coyotes, birds, rabbits, laid out in a perfect spiral, everyone turned toward her. I felt my gut turn to ice. This wasn't murder, this was worship. And she hadn't been dead long. A day, maybe two. He was getting faster, bolder. His exhibitions were growing. I swept the flashlight across the field. The desert wind sighed. Somewhere, out in the dark, he could have been watching, waiting to see what I'd do next. I tightened my grip on the pistol. The silence wasn't peace anymore. It was expectation. I was standing in the middle of his gallery. "Sandy," I called into the radio. "It's Mac." "Mac, Henderson said you found it. He's not going to stop, is he?" "No. Listen carefully. I want full forensic and medical teams here by sunrise. Until then, tell Henderson to stay inside and lock the doors. Patch me through to Sheriff Brody." "Copy that." I turned on the truck's headlights to bathe the field in white. Took photos from every angle. The cold night air bit at my lungs. The wire binding her limbs was tied in the same looped knot as Ashton's. Her body was smaller, younger, maybe 30. Her flesh drawn tight, the chemicals doing their work. The tumbleweed halo caught the light like horns. In her eyes, the turquoise gleamed deep blue, reflecting the sky she'd never see again. Brody's voice came through, thick with sleep. "Another one, Mac? As bad as the first?" "Worse," I said. "Feels like a performance, like it's meant for someone to find." By dawn, the scene was crawling with county vehicles. Ramirez examined the body without a word. Henderson sat by the fence, staring, hollow. I crouched near the spiral of bones. "They're all turned toward her," I said quietly. Ramirez nodded. "And these turquoise stones, this is quality. Old mine turquoise could be Bisbee blue or Sleeping Beauty, rare stuff." That clicked something in me. Those mines were hundreds of miles away. Anything closer? I asked. Most mines here shut down decades ago, but there are stories, deep in the Diablo Range, near the Twisted Sisters peaks. Miners used to swear there were untouched veins there. Dangerous ground. And no one goes anymore. Diablo Range. Twisted Sisters. I knew the place. Ravines like broken ribs, no cell signal, no help. And one of the skulls, Ramirez said, belonged to a burrowing owl found only in those high canyons. The next 24 hours confirmed it. The bones, the stones, the animals, all pointed to Diablo. The second victim was identified as Sarah Kim, a geology student from the University of New Mexico. She'd been mapping fault lines in the Diablo region, missing for a week. Her vehicle was found abandoned on a forgotten trail leading toward the Twisted Sisters Peaks, where turquoise veins and owl nests converged. He hadn't killed her there. He brought her down to Henderson's Plain, set her up like an offering. Ashton had been practice, Sarah was the map. Someone who could understand that I stood in Sheriff Brody's office, holding the report. He wants me to find him, Sheriff, I said. These aren't random. He's leaving clues, geographic, symbolic. Brody took off his hat. You think he's playing with you? I think he's inviting me. That night I sat by the window, staring at the county map. Coyote Joe's Arch Henderson's farm. Diablo Ridge, 3 points forming a triangle. And in the center, an empty patch of desert. No roads. No names. That's where he is, I murmured. Brody exhaled slowly. Then you're walking into the Devil's Range, Mac. I looked out toward the dark horizon. He's been waiting a long time, I said. And I'm done waiting for him. I packed my gear, checked my weapon, and at dawn drove west, into the desert that never forgets.